Benjamin West and his cat Grimalkin. Chapter 9. The Scratchings of Little Ben. The next day, Benjamin put his earth colors and his indigo blue away. Beside them, he laid the duck feathers, the wooden paddle, and the reed pen. "I don't care a fig about color," he pretended to Grimalkin that afternoon when chores were done. It was a day late in November. Outside, the wind howled and sent the inn signboard creaking on its hinges. All was cozy within the low-ceilinged kitchen. Mama was at the loom, Hannah at the churn. Grimalkin gazed up at Benjamin with searching eyes. Then he hooked his forepaw around Benjamin's wrist and drew him down so that the boy and the cat were looking eye to eye. "What is it, Kitling?" asked Benjamin. "Would thee like to sit for thy portrait? But mind thee, it will be in charcoal. Black as thy fur." Grimalkin gave an affectionate lick to Benjamin's hand. Then he whiskered softly over to the hearth. There he put all four paws close together, sat down on his haunches, and curved his tail closely about his feet, and smiled the way cats will. "Never was there another cat so understanding," laughed Benjamin. "Now, if thee can just hold still, Grimalkin." Grimalkin proved a fine sitter. He posed very quietly, except for the tipmost end of his tail, which moved up and down like a wee beckoning finger. Benjamin worked rapidly. Soon the carts would come rumbling into the courtyard. Soon the inn would be alive with noisy travelers. Soon Grimalkin would grow weary of sitting and streak down cellar or upstairs. He worked with quick, free strokes. He did not think of body, ears, eyes, legs, tail. He saw the whole cat at once. There, the form was captured. Now he could strengthen the features to make this a portrait of a particular cat, Grimalkin. He copied Grimalkin's eyes with their wonderfully long pupils. He drew the whiskers. "Elmira's whiskers curve downward," he said as he worked. "Thy whiskers will be different, Grimalkin. They bristle out straight and orderly, like the lines of my copybook." Now Benjamin studied Grimalkin's tail. Its tip still twitched up and down, up and down. Suddenly, Benjamin caught his breath. "Why, that soft, silken tail," he whispered. His strokes became slower, slower, then stopped altogether. He swooped Grimalkin into his arms and raced up the stairs to his little cubbyhole of a room. He set Grimalkin on the floor, backed out of the door, closed it firmly, and fled down to the kitchen. He began to collect articles from here, there, and everywhere. Mama's shears, a goose quill, Grimalkin's half-finished portrait. Then he rummaged in the bottom drawer of the pine dresser and found all of his jugs of paint and the stick of indigo. Mama at her loom and Hannah at the churn exchanged smiles. "The scratchings of little Ben," said Hannah above the swishing noise of the churn. Mama nodded. Back in his room, Benjamin carefully laid each article on his bench. As the pair of shears clattered against the paint jugs, Grimalkin whisked up the bedpost. Once, as a kitten, he had had his ear nipped by that very same pair of shears. One of the grown-ups had been cutting a cocklebur out of his fur and had accidentally pinched his ear. "I recall the accident too," said Benjamin comfortingly. "It shall not happen again, I promise thee." Grimalkin leaped down onto the coverlet, and in that little instant Benjamin laid hold of him. The fur on Grimalkin's back and tail bristled in fear. "Why, how nice of thee to bristle up!" exclaimed Benjamin. "I can cut thy hair easily now." And indeed he did. He cut the tapering hairs at the very tip of Grimalkin's tail. "See, it didn't hurt thee a bit," murmured Benjamin as he tied the little bundle together with one of his own long hairs. Then he fixed it in the goose quill. "How soft and silky," he whispered as he brushed the hairs across his hand. "A camel's shaggy coat would not be near so fine." Twilight was closing in. Benjamin moved his bench closer to the window. He poured some of the thick yellow earth paint into a mussel shell, added a few drops of indigo blue, and stirred the mixture vigorously. Then he daubed a sample of the color on his hand and held it up to Grimalkin's eyes. "It needs a mite more of the yellow," he said. His heart beat fast. The color matched now. He brought the drawing board close to the light. With his new hair pencil, he painted the eyes a clear green. The color did not spread. It did not spatter or spill. It went on so smoothly that not a single hairline showed. The picture in Benjamin's hand trembled as he turned it around and faced it to the looking-glass. Next, he lifted Grimalkin and held the portrait and the cat side by side. "Alike as a pair of boots," he laughed. Then his face sobered. "Thee, Grimalkin, is my nighest friend," he said softly, earnestly. "When I'm an old man with white curls, I shall remember how thee furnished my paintbrush." And he pressed his head close against Grimalkin's.